Hello there, it's Carol again, 30-day challenge. This is now the second page that we're going to be working on, but because I was cut off in my prime on the last one, I just want to finish off talking to you about these flips. So if I just show you very quickly, so this was the flip that I did from the digital kit from Calico Collage, and as we said, because of the direction of the pattern, I had to have the fold going in the opposite direction. So this is the flip that I did, and I've actually stitched it now and inked the edges, and then there's the little banner tuck here. What I was trying to say was just paper clip it in position for now so that you know that it's going on that page, because it will help you to decide then later on other bits and pieces that we're going to be discussing. Whereas on this one with the magazine, I had the image going in the opposite way, and as you can see I've got a different image as well because I'd creased it wrong in the first place. So again, it's just paper clipped in place so that I can make other considerations later on. One of the things that I did want to say was that if you haven't got access to a sewing machine, don't like sewing, whatever, because as I say, what I did was I stitched down here. So if you haven't got a sewing machine, you can either do some stitching by hand to just hold it in place. You can place some glue on there to hold it in place, but what I would suggest is that you put glue on the underneath side of this middle piece here, right on the very edge, a really thin line, and not on this side here. All right, because this, it doesn't matter if it doesn't open totally because the glue will hold the paper in place, but it does matter that this second piece does flap properly, and if you've got glue holding it in place, it will end up just curling it over and you'll have an extra crease in it and it'll look silly. The other thing that I wanted to say was that, again, if you haven't got the sewing machine or you don't want to glue it and you want it definitely on that crease, then you could use a stapler to just staple it in place, so you could have one in the middle or one at each end. Okay, but again, I would just use a paper clip excuse me, to just hold that in place for now, because we need them all out of the way when we actually come to sew the signature in place anyway. But for now, it gives you an idea of what your page is going to look like. Now going on to the next page excuse me, I should have brought a cup of tea with me, shouldn't I? So I do like me cups of tea. The next page that we're going to do is the envelope page. So this is a magnetized envelope, and it flips up and it flips down, and then we've got these two little flaps that open up here as well. All right, now you can actually have your envelope opening up the other way as well, but I'll come to that in a bit. But there are quite a few things that we need to consider when we're creating this piece here. And what I'm actually going to do, because my camera doesn't seem to like doing more than 25 minutes, I'm going to split this video into two parts. So the first part will be demonstrating the magazine cutouts, and then the second video I'll demonstrate using the digital kit. All right, but that's the one that we're going to work on now. Now I used two square envelopes excuse me, but you can use the rectangular one, it doesn't have to be square, but you do need to make sure that they sit comfortably on your page, because if you have them too big, they'll encroach on this area where the spine of the signatures are going to sit inside the book, and so you don't want it catching. So you need to make sure that your envelopes are small enough that you can open them up and maneuver them. All right, so these particular envelopes measure 4 7/8 square, but as I say, you can use rectangular ones. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is, can you see that I've got the two flaps facing each other like this? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this right hand side one up completely, just completely fold it over, and then I'm going to put this edge on top of this one here along this crease line, not over the crease line but up to the crease line, and then make sure that it's all square, and then flap this envelope over the top. Right, and then if I just tap it, it's now all square. And then if I very carefully turn it over, trying not to move the envelopes, I've now got the two flaps on the back overlapping each other, and it doesn't matter which way around they overlap either. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place a tiny bit of the collal glue just on the edge or on the corner of the flap, so that I can stick one flap to the other. So they're now stuck together. Alright, I just need to wait a couple of seconds whilst that just sets off. Hum a little tune to yourself, just keep yourself entertained a minute. Okay, so I'm going to flip them over. So now, if I'm very careful, they should open up and they will look like that. So you can see, look, that these are now joined together. Okay, now when we open our envelopes up, we don't want this part showing, so we're going to cover it over. But what we're going to do is we're going to extend a piece of paper actually inside the envelope on that side and on that side. So it needs to be a length of paper. Now this is a sheet of A4, and it extends, that's the very edge of the opening on the envelope, and so you can see, look, the paper extends beyond that point, so that I know that a strip of that I can slot in there and I can slot in there, and no one will be none the wiser that it's one long strip that's just hiding all of this bit. Okay, and it needs to be fractionally narrower than the width of the envelope itself. So as I say, this is 4, 5, 6, it's just over 4 3/4 inches. So if I actually cut the paper to 4 3/4 inches, I should be about right, but I can always trim a little bit more off if needs be. And I know that I want it the full length of the paper. So I'm going to do it just fractionally beneath the 4 3/4 inch mark. No, I'm not. I'm going to do it at the 4 3/4 because I can always trim a bit off. I can't add. Okay, let's try that. Keep that to hand in case I need it. And we'll just see if that slots inside of there comfortably. Yeah, it does. And that side. Yeah, see, that slots inside just nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it back out. Oh, my envelopes have come apart. Oh, my glue didn't stick. Let me do that bit again. In fact, I know what I'm going to do. So I've stuck it back down with my glue, but also I've got my micropore, if I can find the end. Ah, come on! Around here somewhere. Get my other reel. And I'm just going to put a little bit of tape on there to just hold it. There we go. If I fold it over, open it up, so that's now stuck. So now I need to glue this. So I'm just going to glue make sure I'm in shot. I'm just going to place glue on this end here for about 1 inch or 2. Yep. And I'm going to slot that in there. Now I need to act quickly because of it being so warm at the moment, the glue seems to be drying fairly quickly, and it's not giving me, oh look, it's not giving me much chance to get it in place before it's sticking. Come on, in you go a bit further, thank you. There we go. And now I'm going to put some glue on the flap here, so it'll stick to that, and some glue on the flap there, but I'm not going to stick that down just yet, so I'm going to put some glue on this bit up here. And what I should be able to do, please cross your fingers, is I should be able to slot that in there and slide it in. These things are sent to try us. Come on, in you go. Wish you could see my face right now, it's cursing. You know, every other time I've done this, it's just slid in beautifully. There we go. So I can only presume that it's because it's warm. Okay. So now it's covered over the flaps of the envelope. And it looks quite pretty like that, doesn't it? So I'm going to fold this envelope over so that it now meets up with this edge over here. And I'm going to crease this so that it creases the paper underneath. And then I'm going to fold this one over. So again, it creases the paper underneath. So now it should be able to open close beautifully. All right. So as you can see, you can open these sideways or top and bottom. All right. The next part is a fiddly bit. Get rid of that. Is how do we go about putting our decorative papers, whether they be from a magazine or a digital kit, on this part here. You get a scrap bit of paper, you slot it inside and you slide it right the way down to the bottom, and then you draw a pencil line very carefully around the edge of the envelope opening. Pull it out, and with a pair of scissors cut on the inside edge of the line, so not on the line and not to the right hand side of the line, but to the inside edge of the line, and you cut out that shape. And this then becomes your template. You know how we use the template for the triangular pocket? So now I've got a template for this piece here, and it should, if the envelope is the same on this side, should also match up for this one as well. So what you would then need to do is choose your images, and for the magazine one I'm going to choose these two that I used previously, and I will position these on top of there to cut them out. What you do need to think about though is the direction. So this is the point where you need to decide, are you going to attach your envelopes to open this way or this way? If you do it this way, then when you place your template on top of an image or some text, you know it's got to be that way round for the text to be the right way up. And if you put it on this side, it's got to flip over, and then again you would choose whereabouts you want that image to be. Okay, then you would draw around that and cut it out. I always trim it a little bit smaller so that it's got a little bit of a border to it. Now if you're doing it top to bottom, again you need to think about this. So if this is going to be the top, so I'll just write a small T on there, and that one as the B for the bottom, so I knew which way round it went. So this needs to go this way, so it means that if there's any text, it's got to go that way. So it means that if I use these images again, I would place that on there, draw around that, and that would be the right way up. If I do it on the bottom piece though, again I've got to flip that up, and I've got to think about the direction that that's going to go in. So if I place it on my text up here, if I wanted this image or a part of it, then I've got to make sure that it's going to be in place and that it's all the